Good morning, everybody. Yes, Monday morning, the bitch from hell, and a middle of winter Monday morning. Not even a middle, but I did notice suddenly, like we're almost at the end of May already, and you know, before you blink, it's going to be like June, and then it's halfway through the year. So you have there's not a lot of space for you to fuck around here. You better get on with it this year.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought you were talking to me when you said the middle of winter bitch. I was like, that's a nice introduction.
I thought I'd give you a little bit more credit than that. I mean, I may have been mean to you in the past, but that's uncalled for first thing in the morning.
That's what I thought.
Middle of winter bitch. Hey, how you doing, middle of winter bitch?
The worst kind of bitch.
And you'd go, I'm fine, how are you?
Yeah, doing okay.
All right, how was your weekend?
All good.
Mm-hmm.
What weekend? Wow, it flies.
No, it's ludicrous, right? Isn't it crazy?
I ended up watching. Why am I echoing?
I don't know, Ryan. We got like echoing shit going on here, and it's driving us both crazy. I'm also hearing it now.
I've muted myself.
Yeah, I know. Why are we still? Ugh.
Ugh.
Is there like a headphone set playing here at full volume or something?
I've done everything right here, have I?
Oh my God!
Have to ask someone young to check.
Yeah, no, we're hearing. There we go.
Better?
Hello.
Oh, it was my fault. Embarrassing.
Oh, you're an idiot.
I know. Middle of winter bitch.
Middle of winter bitch. Now you earned that one.
What
did you do?
I watched finally. Not that this was my whole weekend.
Did you watch a French silent film?
No, but always a bit of true crime. But I watched finally Sias's interview with you and also the one with Anele.
Oh, right.
On the podcast. It was really uplifting. It was nice.
It was Anele's birthday on Friday.
Yes.
No.
Yeah, Sias gave her a cake and things like that.
Oh.
But it was just, you realize when you sit back how much a part of you've been of the whole radio landscape.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you have.
And how it won't be the same again.
No, it's done. It's done.
Yeah.
It's time to move on.
I know you, like you said many times, you're not nostalgic.
Yeah, or sentimental about that stuff because really it's just, there's a record, right? And I don't know who's ever recorded any of those shows because I don't have any recordings.
No,
I have.
I'm not like that either.
No, I have no recordings of our shows ever. My mom, I think, recorded once when I was on campus radio, like one of my first shows. There is not a chance I'm ever letting anyone hear that. There's, if I do have it somewhere, I'm going to destroy it. Today, in fact, I've just been reminded. I'm going to destroy it.
I don't even
because I don't want anyone to hear that. It's guaranteed to be absolutely abominable.
I don't have anything even close to a portfolio. I mean, all the TV work I've done and nothing like that. Because, like you said, it's like an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend. I feel the same way. I just kind of
moveon.org, right? Yeah, there's no time. I mean, these people who are constantly like trying to relive the past or have their glory days of high school rugby or whatever, that's so sad. And if you've won the lottery of jobs and you get to do what you love and you got to make other people smile and laugh, and you got to do it for I don't know, whatever number of years we were on radio for. Like, great. Bank it and move on quickly before anyone notices how lucky you've been. Yeah. Right?
Before they knock on your door saying, listen, we overpaid you.
Right. Jesus, did they? I think
they overpaid us.
They're big time, right? I'm realizing now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm realizing now how, since I haven't been doing TV and radio, although I am completely free to do what I want and I don't have to take instructions, I don't have to have dumb management like I used to have there and all that stuff. They just paid, hey?
Yeah. And they were pretty good payers. It was only, I mean, in the 16 years that I was there was only once or twice that they maybe didn't pay us.
No, there was one occasion I will never forgive.
There was like a 3-month period at one stage.
No, well, I remember all of that, but there was this one point, and I wonder if anybody else who's listening to us now has ever had this. I invoiced them, but I was 10 minutes late for the show that morning.
Oh, yes.
On the day that we were invoicing. So they So I was there for the majority of that hour, but we used to be paid on an hourly rate.
Yes.
So that morning I was 10 minutes late for the show. So I started at 6:10 rather than at 6:00. I invoiced them for the hour thinking, well, I missed 10 minutes.
Yeah. Sometimes you're 10 minutes early.
Right. Well, they didn't pay me that month. I had to resubmit the invoice and I had to take that hour out.
But that was like the one.
They were such
month that they were watching.
If you rounded up or you rounded down, it made a huge difference. Like you might not get paid because you rounded up instead of down or down instead of up. I mean, it's just because there was some tunny sitting in the accounting department.
They kept the ones from the previous regime. And they were grumpy as hell.
Fatima says, oh my word, I knew Gareth would bring up this story again. I'm sorry, it bothered me. It really bothered me and I can imagine there are businesses where there are sticklers. There are those people who are absolutely by the rules. Everything has to be above board. It's like if you lie or you're not even, let's not even say you lie. Let's say you made a simple rounding error. And they come down on you like a ton of bricks. I heard the most horrible story about someone who I know who got into trouble at work for the most inane, silly thing. Like he jokingly signed his one email off with a different job title. He said like chief humorist or whatever. And they called him in for an HR meeting and he had to explain himself to some asshole manager who had no sense of humor, right? Wild.
Yeah,
wild.
Look, you're hitting a sore spot because I have an in-person interview on Wednesday. And it's an at location job, kind of in a 9 to 5. It's a bit of a drive.
The south or the north?
East.
East Ront. Yes, all right.
Look, it's Bedford View, so we're okay. Bedford View.
All right. Okay.
I can go to News Cafe afterwards because it's still there.
Get shot there.
Oh my God. So yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around all of that corporate stuff.
Yeah.
Let's see what happens.
Well, we were tracking you on the way here.
Oh, yes.
Because Ryan was showing me on his phone. He's like, look, Leigh-Ann is over here at the moment. And he's got like a tracker, like you're a wild animal. And we were following your progress because he said, no, she's here. She's on her way. I'm like, oh, fucking Leigh-Ann. She's late again. So he shows me on his phone, no, this is your location. Did you send him a share?
I did.
Share location. So we're literally watching a little circle with your face on it moving around.
I always hope when people watch me driving like that, if I've sent my location, that they look at it and think, wow, she's going really fast, because I am.
I've seen you drive. That's true. That is true.
Doesn't matter what car you put me in.
So you're resuming proper full-time in-person
let's
work.
Not jinx it. I mean,
okay, but I mean, like if you get the job, and let's say it turns out to be really good and better than you thought, because let's be optimistic. I know you're not, but let's try.
Yeah, no, look, I've already gone through all the negative
in your
stuff.
head. You've already figured out like your boss is going to be a terrible person.
Yeah,
you're never going to get parking. You're going to hate the coffee machine. I know what you're like.
It's going to be one loo that you all have to share.
You're a misery guts, and you can imagine like some of the people there are going to be mean to you, and that's how you think. You just immediately imagine the worst case scenario. Most of us who are not absolutely fucked in the head like you will go, it's gonna be all right. Like I'm gonna probably make friends there. I'm gonna really enjoy the work. I'll get paid more than I think I'm worth. It's gonna be great.
Look, there's that. It's the money, but also I now have, I don't know, about six different jobs, and it's little bits from here and little bits from there.
You can't do that.
I'm done with that for now. Really,
it's so frustrating because again, you're invoicing for everyone, so there's admin up the yazoo. And you're working for some international businesses, which must be fun. But it also, if you're not in, I really think there's a value to being around people in person, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And you can't replace that. It's not that easy to just move to a digital thing. And we all did it for however long. But I think that experiment is over now. There's only so much you can do.
Yeah.
There are a couple of comments here that I want to get to quickly. Ricky says, my HR once wore a bunny outfit handing out Easter eggs on the Thursday before Easter weekend. I told her she looked like a Playboy bunny. Luckily, she had a sense of humor. HR people usually do not have a sense of humor.
You know what? My brother is an HR person.
Is he?
And if anyone has a sense of humor, it's him.
Okay, it's him. Yeah, he's all right. Wow.
I do like watching him come home and shout at the news on TV.
He's become your dad.
He lets out all of the stuff he couldn't say at work.
Right.
To the TV.
You have to have a pressure release. Yeah. Carl DeSantos says, I often put an insult in white font in my emails, so I get it off my chest, but the other person isn't offended.
Oh my gosh.
Problem is that he says, in an inbox, the colors invert. So someone saw me calling them a cunt. Oh, man. Yeah, News Cafe Bedford is gone. It's Doppio Zero or something now.
Doppio.
Something different. Sad, but fewer fights.
Oh, no. If there are fewer fights, I'm not going to be bothered.
I used to like that News Cafe. I used to DJ there once or twice a year.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It was a fun thing to go and see. You just don't fuck with people there.
You stick to yourself.
You don't pick any fights. Luckily, I don't know how, but somehow I've, in my long and storied career, avoided fights. So,
I didn't manage that.
And I've got a mouth on me.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Joking Atheist says it is a power trip about demeaning humans at the whim of narcissists. The more important question is, why do we use them as leaders in companies? Well, often, people become the leaders just by staying there the longest.
Yes, by default.
Yeah. So they just hang around so long that people think they're important. And they know a lot. They know all the secrets. They know all the history. They know all the background.
Yeah. And they've probably, until when raises were still a thing, got a raise year on year. So they were earning a lot.
Leigh-Ann, you're pretty intelligent, says Congo Chris. I'm 80% sure you're going to adapt to the new environment in no time. Well, think about the ordeals you've been through before. This is going to be nothing.
I know.
I mean,
I keep telling myself.
You used to have people pinching your tits and
slapping my ass.
Yeah, and you used to be you were front row for suing companies at one point because you'd been harassed.
Yeah. And dragged.
By today's standards, you had been harassed in the worst way possible. You could probably go back and sue now if there wasn't a statute of limitations.
Well, that's also the part.
Although some of the people who harassed you are dead.
Oh, yeah. Well, hopefully so.
Shame. I'm so sorry.
We
are laughing at it, but I mean, it's a serious thing.
No, it's very true.
Oh.
I mean, that's another thing I was thinking about.
I mean, people think I'm mean to you. I was the nicest person you ever worked with.
Well, look, there was Darren before you who called me tits and you called me ass. So, but at least you weren't referring to my actual ass.
No, it was Lee ass.
It was a totally different story.
Okay, so you've obviously got people who listen to this show all paranoid because ass, we love you, all the best, but please don't leave us again. Please, some serious separation anxiety with our audience. Because
I'm sorry.
So many people have come and gone that people are.
I won't do that to you. It'll be written into my contract. Don't worry.
Okay, well, here are a couple of things. So Mary says, when is Sia coming to the show? It's so funny. I was talking to, who was it we were talking to? Oh, Kat, who used to produce for Ari, came in.
Oh, yes.
She's been working. She's had the most incredible time. I mean, also tough, but she worked on the ships for a while. She's now in the Maldives.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And she's like she minds the children while the parents frolic and cavort on the beach.
Okay.
In the Maldives. But I mean, she says it's really cool work. She loves doing it. It's fun. She likes kids. That's why she worked well with us.
Yes.
But she was saying that it's hard work working with these children, but she's having a good time. And we were talking who else do you still see from the old, Cliff Central days in the beginning? And she hadn't heard from Sia either. We haven't heard from him.
I see him on TikTok.
Oh, you're right. Is that where he is?
Yes.
Okay. What's he doing?
I haven't seen anything of substance that would tell me what he's doing.
Oh, okay.
But he's just being his fabulous self.
Okay. Well, then listen.
That's all we need.
I hope he's happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
George says, culture is the sole sustainable competitive advantage of any business. That's why any remote work takes the competitive advantage away, because everything else can be copied besides culture. That's a good point.
Yeah, the culture part is the difficult one. I mean, you said to me, I could handle anything, but the thing is, I've got to try and be PC as well. That's what I'm worried about.
I think you could do that quite well.
Hope so.
No, you're
fucking
not.
Hope so.
I was going, but you're not a loose cannon. I mean, you're actually you're well behaved. You conform. That's what you do.
Yeah, you're right.
Your adaptation is to conform,
and
you comply. You're exactly
until it drives me mad and I lose it in the bathroom.
No, but you lose it in the bathroom and nobody knows. You see, you're the opposite of me in that way. I don't conform. I either make other people conform to me or I have to get out.
Yeah, or you disrupt.
Or I disrupt, yeah, but actively, destructively disrupt.
Yeah.
Yeah, so better you than me going for a job interview. I've never been for a job interview. Thought about this the other day. I've never actually made a CV.
I think I did.
I don't have a CV. I wouldn't know what to put on it.
I went for a job interview after varsity, and that's the last time. So, yeah, it's been 20 years, 25 years. And it's so strange. I hit play on some random movie with Melissa McCarthy in it. And it started with her going to a job interview. Like with the situation that I have, it's like a young advertising agency where they try and do everything cool in the office. And they made her try and sit on a beanbag for the interview, and she kept sliding off. And I just knew, I know that's what's going to happen to me. I'm going to have to sit on some, go down a slide or sit on some ladder.
Yeah, they're definitely going to put you on a beanbag. Definitely.
Oh, dear.
All right. Well, here we go. Here's someone who remembers you talking about the World Trade Center. Here's Tracy. She says, I remember Leigh-Ann was on the radio when the planes hit the Twin Towers. You were so obviously shaken, but kept your cool so well. I'll never forget that.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Were you on while it happened?
Yeah.
Wow.
Saw it happening on TV while we were on air. And the worst is my family, my mom, my dad, and my brother had just arrived in New York when it happened.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah. So no one knew what was going on. It was just horrific.
Congo Chris wants to know, is it poor taste to put your IQ on a CV?
I don't even know if some people know what an IQ means anymore.
Well, also, there are not a lot of people who actually know their IQ, and the ones who do are usually not the kind of people you want to hire.
I got told mine when I was in matric, the TED, the Transvaal Education Department.
I remember them.
They came over visiting schools, and I was one of 3 people who got a bursary from the TED. And they were there for half an hour and
they gave you a bursary?
Picked the people with the highest IQs. Then they told us them, which is weird.
You got a bursary?
Yes.
A bazar.
And
impressive.
And the funny thing is that it doesn't matter how high your IQ is. I can't freaking remember what mine was.
No. All right. So let's just look at creative geniuses since you brought this up. These are their routines. They've broken down. And you can't really see it on this slide.
I mean, it's quite an in-depth.
But what they do is they look at what? Sleep.
Your working time.
Right. And everybody always says, this is what I love about this breakdown. Everybody always goes, oh, you've got to work hard. You've got to pull hours at the office. Now I know a lot of people who have 9-to-5 office jobs, and they fuck around for hours. Mm-hmm. They take 7 coffee breaks. They stand outside with the smokers and talk shit.
Meetings.
They sit in meetings where, especially online ones, where they're actually busy Googling some nonsense that they need to know. Sorry. They're Googling some bullshit for, when they get home and how to cook some recipe or make
having affairs on.
They're on their phones.
Yeah.
They're sitting there at their desk on their phone the whole time.
On their phones.
So I don't believe any of that nonsense about the ones who are the most successful, the ones who are pulling the hours, and there are people like Elon Musk who we know slept in the rec room or the library or whatever, and he was working 24/7. But even he probably spent quite a lot of time humming in the shower or sleeping on the couch in his office, because that's why a lot of bosses have big offices, is because they sleep on the sofa. They're sleeping. Sleeping is a massive part of these creative geniuses' routine, right?
Yeah.
So look at this.
It's the first thing that comes up in the explanation.
So take a look at this. You feeling bad about being lazy. You perceive yourself as lazy. We'll take a look.
And so let's just talk about who's in here. The likes of.
I can see Galileo.
Mozart.
I can see, I see Beethoven. I see
Freud's in there.
Sigmund Freud. Yeah. I see Benjamin Franklin. Who we got there? Who did I leave out?
Charles Dickens, Charles Darwin.
Charles Chickens.
Dick Charlesons.
Okay, go
Benjamin Franklin.
Mm-hmm.
And what they all share is that they had a good sleep. They all had like about 7.25 hours of sleep across the board.
All right. So listen, all of those people who woke up this morning, Monday morning, didn't get enough sleep last night, and you're feeling rough, and you're not a genius.
Yeah.
I hate you to feel even worse this morning, but you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Today you're a loser.
Someone's sitting down, they've just finished their hair and makeup and made a cup of tea.
Yeah, they're like, I'll make it through today. And then we come on and they're like, I'm not a genius.
And then there's also exercise in there, and that's quite easy. You might be able to see because that's the turquoisey color.
Mm-hmm. Some of these guys did no exercise.
Nothing.
Like Benjamin Franklin did zero exercise.
Nothing. Right? Some of them did a lot.
Because
John Milton did a lot.
He was fat. Benjamin Franklin was fat. And I'm pretty sure that Sigmund Freud wasn't particularly into vigorous exercise. No, he wasn't. There's hardly any on his.
Yeah, no, hardly any.
Okay.
And then very few of them have like an afternoon nap.
Very few of them?
Yeah.
Oh shit! I thought that was a sign of being a genius.
And if they do, it's really short. I don't know how people do that.
I don't feel guilty anymore. I tell people if I can squeeze a nap in, I do it. I don't feel bad about a nap. I don't feel guilty about it. I don't feel like it's lazy. In the middle of winter, especially. If I get home today, at 3-4 o'clock, guaranteed I'm going to have an hour's nap.
I can't. How do you wake up?
I'm going to get into bed under the duvet. I'm going to go to sleep for an hour in my bed in the daytime.
Because those sleeps, your head gets sucked in by the pillow, and it feels like you never wake up.
It's the best, and I wake up and I'm good to go. And then I'll either go to gym in the early evening or I'll go before I have that nap. But I'm doing it.
I get confused. I remember once I had an afternoon nap on a Saturday. And on the Sunday, I knew what I was going to do. That I was going to the fruit and veg shop, and I had a whole list of things to do.
Always you and the fruit and veg, hey? You should really have married a Portuguese.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, Jay Something's coming.
Oh, there we go.
Jay Something's going to join us later on.
And I had an afternoon nap, and I woke up and at 7:02 in the morning. Went to the vegetable shop, and it was closed. And also the light was weird.
Because it was nighttime.
It was nighttime in
you
summer.
Slept the whole way through.
No, yeah. I woke up in the night, but I thought it was the next morning.
Oh my God. No, you're stupid.
I promise you, afternoon naps confuse
me.
I went to sleep in the afternoon.
So it just completely disconnects you from reality.
Woke up at 7:02 and I thought it was in the morning.
Okay, no, then you shouldn't. You're not a candidate for these. No, bad idea.
Yeah.
I wish I'd had one of those, you know when you go out and you party and you go to sleep when you get home, but you almost sleep through the whole of the next day.
You wake up at like 12 or something.
Well, I've never been able to do that. Kind of a little bit jealous of people who can.
I think I sent you a picture of my
look at this
schedule.
All right, have a look here, everybody. Read 'em and weep. So this is what Leigh-Ann does when she's coming into the show in the mornings. So she's got a 4:30 studio. Then it says 4:50 studio backup every Monday. 5:15 wake the fuck up every Monday. 5:40 is the safety alarm. What is that? And last chance is 5:45. You've named them.
Because
talk us through this.
I think when I read them, that I'll be motivated.
What a disaster.
I hit snooze on this morning. I hit snooze on all of those. I was just so tired.
Well, I sent a picture to the team this morning on the group chat. Like, this is the sign, right? I'll show you.
Oh, the hammer with an alarm clock.
Yeah, exactly. Here it is. There it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, you've got like 5 alarms. I'm probably not that far behind you, actually. If I think about it, mine aren't labeled like yours. Mine will just say alarm, alarm, alarm.
Llama.
But here we go. 4:35, 4:45,
Oh, wow,
5:20, 5:25, 9:50. That's a different. Okay, and then it goes. Yeah, I have a whole bunch of them, and then I change them on a daily basis.
I keep them in there because otherwise you have to scroll like you're trying to find your birth date on an information sheet.
Yeah, and now if you're looking for the 70s, it takes a lot.
Bad. It's like
it's like those wheels that they would spin on those TV shows. I saw such a funny clip this weekend that this guy goes up to this girl in a shopping mall. And he's like, do you want to spin the wheel or do you want $50? And she's like, I'll spin the wheel. So it's a little wheel like this. So he spins the wheel, or she spins the wheel, but it never stops. It goes just when you think it's going to slow down, it goes faster.
Yeah, I would have been one of the grumpy people who walked past and said $50.
Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly right. George says, you see, George is on this stuff. He knows what we're talking about. 3 kinds of time spent, Gareth. Cerebral time, time producing, time absorbing. All 3 are important the more you work on the business and not in the more cerebral time one needs. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, is there any kind of surefire way to know whether you're a genius or not based on this research they've done on these brilliant people and their time spent on things?
They're just basically saying,
sleep.
Don't kill yourself. These people had pretty balanced lives.
Yeah, but they weren't. What I'm amazed by is they weren't awake 18 out of 24 hours.
No, they,
slaving away in the laboratory or at their notepad or at the keyboard or whatever it was.
No, exactly. And a lot of them set aside time outside of their primary work, so they had like creative time. If they weren't painters, they would paint, or they would have lunch with friends. And then some of the odd habits. Beethoven, for instance, had coffee for breakfast, but he made sure that there were exactly 60 coffee beans per cup. I don't drink coffee, but is that a lot?
That's quite heavy. Okay. The guy must have been on a buzz.
And then Victor Hugo visited the barber every day.
Every day. Huh?
Yeah. And
who was I thinking? Oh, Churchill. Even when he was in prison here in South Africa, they captured him and put him in Pretoria. He used to have the hairdresser, the barber, come and cut his hair once a week.
Sure.
He did it every week, and he had a breakfast that he would also start drinking at 9 a.m.
There was someone also that we spoke about recently. I think he had heroin for breakfast, lunch, and supper. Freud would smoke as many as 20 cigars every day.
Jesus. Imagine his breath.
And also,
dirty old Sigmund Freud. Dirty old Sigmund Freud, obsessed with vaginas and penises.
Probably sucking the cigars.
Yeah, I mean, that guy. Well, I mean, everything to him was about sex. Everything.
Yeah.
Do you think you're worried about like whether you're spending too much time thinking about sex or sleep? Or that guy was 24/7 obsessed. They don't have a category there for thinking about sex because he would be off the charts.
But then, most importantly, crucial to note that none of these people had worked on their own. They had an army of people looking after them. No. Partners, friends, co-workers, everyone picking up the workload for them, cooking for them.
It is time. I'm going to get married.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a Russian bride. I've decided that's the way to go. I know lots of people who've been very happily married with Russian brides. I really do.
I don't know, really.
Mm-hmm.
Watching 90 Day Fiancé, they do become beyond.
You just got to keep them in line. The minute they get to, just remind them of what life in Kiev was like. I'm telling you.
Oh, no.
And I know before anyone climbs in, Ukraine, I know. But potato, when they're fleeing a war zone, what do you care where they come from?
Oh, my God. I don't think there's any country where I would desire a man from specifically.
Not?
Mm.
You wouldn't want to...
Oh, wait, it's just a man.
There we go. Exactly. All right, so look at this. What is this? This creature addressed the president at some meeting over the weekend. You know Hasbulla?
Yes.
A little Russian... what would you even... He's a midget, right? What is he? Because he's not a child. He's not a child. He looks like a child.
He's an adult.
Yeah. Hasbulla. Anyway, we may have our own Hasbulla.
Oh.
Well, have a look.
God bless you. Others will speak negative about you.
But when I tell you negative, not everybody's gonna love you. No, yes, babemkulusha mosemzansi emhlabeni kushukushukushu. So when yes wethu, so thatha ezizibhedi ziso ezikusempumelelweni.
Take the bad issues, then they will bring you to the future and bring you high. I've got enemies that were here for me.
She's got enemies. Did you hear that? That little... This person is about the size of my forearm, and she's got enemies. What the hell is she doing?
She's like Togolosh size.
Yeah, she's right.
I mean, who would want to fight with her? She's very feisty.
Feisty as hell. She's busy addressing the president there, and he's like laughing.
He's bemused. I've never seen
Alan
him look
Windy and
so...
President Cyril Ramaphosa and some other woman too. And they're all like, oh, she's so entertaining. Something's going on there.
No, you can tell she's an adult. No. She's wearing, for some reason, a nightgown, a big fluffy
and
cream
she's
nightgown.
Got jewelry. She's got like a ring, and so she's an adult. She's not a 5-year-old.
Yeah, she is. But I don't know. I can't.
What is that? I don't. What's the condition? I mean, like, I don't understand.
It's the same as there's I think she's 21 or 24 years old now. An American woman who just wants to be accepted as her age, but she's also tiny, tiny.
I still want to know if anybody. I'm looking in the comments to try and find midget's midget. No, I mean seriously, what is that?
I don't know. I can't remember which of the terms are right or not.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. Hey, Gareth, when are you doing a piece on Louis Liebenberg, the Ponzi scheme? What do you mean a piece? You think I'm a journalist? Stian, I hate to let you down. I think you're listening to the wrong show. I don't do like carte blanche style research and exposés or any of that shit. So I think you're barking up the wrong tree. Yeah, can you imagine me being a serious journalist? I never even studied that stuff. You did.
Yeah, I did. I was cum laude.
Oh.
Top 5 students. I'm just reading up here. The worst term that you can use is midget.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the one I went straight for. Hey?
Yeah, you went straight for that. You went right
straight for the midget one. The M word.
Yeah.
All right.
There's you call them people with dwarfism.
But that's not a dwarf. I know a dwarf. A dwarf is like the Game of Thrones guy.
They also get little people, little person.
No, but that's so demeaning. I mean, wouldn't you rather... Again, I'm not a midget, but if I were, I'd rather be called a midget than a little person. A little person? A diminutive? A little Come on. Who decided that was politically correct and better?
There's even that show, Little People of America.
Oh, no. Outrageous.
You can also, although less common, person of short stature.
Oh, no, that's awful. A short-statured person. First of all, who can remember that? Short-statured person, Leigh-Anne Moll. I mean, come on. Outrageous. She's a midget. So the midget is different. And yes, she was wearing a big ANC scarf on her head. So Joking Atheist says, when you wear ANC regalia around your head, you know all kinds of wrong has happened.
Yeah, I think if we were going to point out any faults, it would be that.
Yeah, but there is I mean, we've been through this a million times. Yeah. The dwarf is the kind.
Generally two different types.
The dwarf is the disproportionate carnival kind, right? And the midget is just a terribly, terribly small person, like Hasbulla or like this little woman.
It has to do with proportions.
Yes, exactly. And a dwarf is, the proportions are all over the place. Dwarf has got the same big size head as you, but the body is much smaller and out of shape. Anyway, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
We've interviewed so many of these. I still can't get the...
I don't know, Gareth.
I can't get to the truth. And I'm really upsetting you by making you say horrible things.
Uncomfortable.
Yeah, words that you're not comfortable with. And now that business you're going to the interview today, the person who interviews you is going to be a dwarf.
Oh, no. Oh, God. And I'll be on an enormous beanbag.
Yeah. No, you're going to walk in and all the furniture is going to be very small. You're going to walk in, all the furniture is going to be tiny, and this person who's interviewing you is going to be tiny, and you're going to feel like a big giant in their office.
Wasn't there a Little Britain sketch on that?
Sing the
he was singing the theme tune.
Do the theme tune. Do. Oh my God.
Thanks for helping me through this hard time.
You came to the wrong place. When is it today?
Wednesday.
Oh, you got 2 more days to
worry.
Stress yourself out. I know what you're like. Leigh-Ann is going to be sitting there for the next 2 days, just imagining all the worst outcomes.
It's all horrible, and it's the imposter syndrome.
You're the kind of person they should just call you the day before and say, "Come for the interview."
Yeah. Even that's too much.
Even that, yeah. You just say, "Are you in the area?"
No, I'll knock on my door.
Yeah.
Oh no! Please don't do that.
No, you won't answer.
No,
you'll be hiding. You'll hide somewhere. Oh wow! Imagine walking in and there's a Jimmy Carter-esque sized person. That would be scary.
Yeah.
I saw yesterday on Twitter, tenderpreneurs in KZN are in the crosshairs of assassins. Top-tier crooks are cleaning up shop. Good. I want to see a lot more people who've stolen money from South Africa. And I mean the fiscus. I mean the National Treasury. I mean government contracts, that kind of thing. I want to see more of those people dead or in jail. And I don't apologize for it. I don't give a shit how mean that sounds. I'm not really interested in whether or not you come from poverty and it's the first time you ever got any money and you got it from the department of whatever it was through a contract. Dead or in jail, I have no interest in your well-being from here on in.
If it's something that's taught cross-culturally, doesn't matter where you've grown up, how poor or how rich, it's
don't
not
care.
To steal.
Sorry, go straight to jail or some assassin from some crooked KZN business. They must take you out. And then they must be taken out as well. I want to see a big war where all the bad people just get taken out. That would make me happy. Congo Chris says, what is the correct way to speak to someone with a wonky eye? Do you look them straight in the eye or do you avoid eye contact? I need help. That's a good question.
There's generally an eye that you look into. The first gynecologist I've ever went to, I think I was about 14 years old.
Oh no.
And my mom took me to the man who delivered me as a baby.
Oh wow.
So he had aged quite a bit by then. Also had one eye.
One eye?
2 eyes, one looking one way. So when he was...
One-eyed gynae.
Well, when he was doing the exam...
let me have a look.
I didn't know if he was looking down my hoo-ha or into my face.
Because one eye was always looking up over at you, right?
It was the worst experience ever. I came out into the waiting room in tears.
Oh, that's so great. Well, I told you what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to get a monocle.
Why?
Because I just think it's way more interesting than a pair of glasses.
You have to practice with those, hey?
On a string. I'm going to have it on a string. And I'm going to put it in my eye like this.
It's very inconvenient.
I think it's amazing. And it's very intimidating for people because nobody uses a monocle anymore. And I only need the one. So
you won't be able...
You literally read something and then you let it drop and you look at people and go, yes.
Yeah. You can't drive with it because that messes with your distance. What's it called?
No, you can't drive with a monocle. But I'm also going to... I'm going to be... I have always been. I'm going to be a real menace on the road. And then when someone pulls me over, because the cops won't know what to do with it either. They'll be like, where you? Well, I say you are driving all over the road. And I'll be like, yes.
No, you just need an old green Land Rover in the countryside.
Right, exactly. That's me. And I'll have lots of like farm equipment in the back, even though I won't use it. It must just look complicated. And like lots of agricultural tools, like a mattock. I want a mattock in the back.
What's a mattock? Like bits of a bagpipe, an old bagpipe.
Yeah. Stuff like that is confusing as hell. So that they have to search the car, but all of it is completely bizarre to them.
Yeah.
They're like, why would you have this? Why would you have a mattock?
What does that do?
A mattock is it's a garden or an agricultural tool.
Like mattock.
Yeah. It's a one side has got like a chisel end, and the other side has got like an adze.
It's like a twisted hammer axe.
Yes, a hammer axe. You don't think it's important?
Similar to the pickaxe.
A mattock, yeah. Come on. You don't think that's interesting?
But it's a mixture between a pick and an adze.
There we go, an adze.
A-D-S.
I said it adze.
Did you?
You just glanced right past it.
Didn't think it was a real word.
An adze, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. Similar to a Pulaski used in fighting fires.
Of course. There we go.
Right.
An adze.
My uncle put a pick through his
foot.
Oh,
God. Oh, wow.
When I'm just looking at the picture that came up, it's sticking out of the grass.
Gareth, please do not wear a monocle. You will look like a member of the SS. Because didn't Nazis also wear those? I think they did. There were one or two like baddies in the movies. Because they always used to make that, because it's a weird looking thing, right? They'd always make one of the baddies have a monocle. I love a monocle. I'm going to have one, I'm telling you. Eye patch in one monocle and the other eye, says Matthew.
Oh, my God. Disaster.
Okay, so you focus on the straightest eye or the nose. You don't switch focus between the eyes. It's trying to avoid the elephant in the room. That's a good point. You just focus on the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I often wonder if they had drunk driving during the horse and cart days. Oh, listen.
Oh, yeah.
What you have to remember about most of our ancestors everywhere in the world, with the exception of the Muslim world in the last 300 years, because before that they also drank, is
that they were drunk
all
the time.
All the time. The women, the men, the children.
Wouldn't you be?
The children in the workhouse, in the Victorian workhouse, those kids were plastered.
Yeah.
I mean, minors used to get given, and you remember, you can't drink the water in those days because the water was putrid.
Yeah.
Water, they didn't have filtration and chlorination, and they would drink from dams and rivers that were full of dead bodies and God knows what else. So you had to drink alcohol. They used to have something called a small beer in the morning.
Yes. In Europe, you would have a morning beer. And also in Europe, the wine farmers, they would not drink water while they were toiling.
Plastered.
They were drinking wine. They believed it was good for them.
Absolutely. But our ancestors were all plastered all the time. Do not believe anything to the contrary. This idea that we mustn't be drinking is so new.
It's so very new.
It's so new. Humans, half the reason that any of them managed to survive the horrible ordeal of being alive was just because they were in another dimension half the time.
Yeah. I mean, you try and think of an historical take on something in a film or a series. There's always a bottle of something going at any time of the day.
Right. Okay, let's go to someone who's sensible on the show for a change instead of us talking nonsense. Here's Dr. Hanan. Hey, Doc.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Are you drunk right now?
You should be, right? I mean, like, this is the coping mechanisms. It's not the topic of conversation for this morning, but people had to cope in the past, and part of it was that they were just drunk all the time.
What's the first thing that a drunk person says every single time? I'm not drunk.
Exactly. Right. Okay, so I want to talk about this because it's come up a couple of times on the show, and I still don't understand it. People who have open relationships. I do know they're not together anymore. Surprise, surprise. But I do know two people who were in an open relationship. And she and he were, for all intents and purposes, it was working out fine for a while. It never lasts, though. And I'm just wondering if I'm very prejudiced because I believe that it's an impossibility, or if there's something about it that I don't understand. Maybe I'm very old school about this. I don't really make an effort to try and understand how it might work. What are your feelings on this off the bat, Doc? I mean, is it possible for people to have an open relationship? In other words, let's just clear up the definitions for people here. An open relationship is where you are with somebody, but you also occasionally have sex with other people. And sometimes you even do it as a couple.
Right. So the rule is that Relationships are very diverse and there's no one glove fits all. The reason why, let's call them the opposite, close relationships are much more likely to survive and thrive, even though over 50% of people do get divorced. So that's not really a model for success, but they're much more successful, we know from research, than open relationships, is because they are well defined. The rules and boundaries are solid, and the moment in any relationship, the rules are agreed on and abided by, then you are in for a trusting relationship. The problem with, or the challenge rather, with open relationships is that the rules are so diverse and they're so complex. The game, you move from playing checkers to playing chess. There are benefits to open relationships, such as the freedom to satisfy a diverse set of needs, the freedom to do what you want, how you want, to sexually go on and emotionally go on adventures, which are maybe not so available to you in a closed relationship. Closed relationships are other adventures that you can go on, but certainly different to the ones that are open. But the key challenge that I see amongst the couples that I see that are in open relationships is that trust is generally broken very quickly and very easily because the rules are not clearly defined. Even the way that you've defined open relationship, or kind of giving each other permission to sexually explore outside of the relationship, what does that even mean? I mean, it sounds like you define it, but what does it even mean? Who can I bring in? How many people can I bring in?
Right.
When can I explore out of my comfort zone?
So I've heard, again, of couples who have very strict rules. The rules are clearly defined. So the rule is, if you have any experiences outside of our relationship, you've got to tell each other, that kind of thing. Now, that sounds great in theory, but the human inclination is always to try and hide that stuff.
Yeah, to preserve a relationship.
Yeah, and if you care about the person, it's not so damned easy to just go and tell them, oh, yeah, I was busy with this one this weekend while you were on a business trip. Is this appropriate? I mean, I don't think any rule can make that easier.
It's not easy, and I'll tell you why psychologically it is very challenging. So we keep on referring week after week to the coin theory. And the coin theory says the more you invest, the more you value, the more you care, the more you expect. That's the way it works. The more you invest, the more you care, the more you value, the more you expect. So again, if I invest R1 million into a business, I'm going to expect and I'm going to value it a lot more than when I invest nothing into a business. Now, in a relationship, the more I invest, the more I value, the more I care, the more I expect. Now, the moment I invest a lot into a person, naturally, when they go out and take their coins and invest it somewhere else, I'm naturally going to be disappointed. I'm naturally going to feel frustrated, angry, resentful, jealous. So it almost works in opposite to how our psychology is, where the more I invest, the more I care. But meanwhile, you're going out and investing in other people, and I want you to reinvest into what I'm investing into. That's why it's very challenging, and that's why jealousy is so rough. And even though you're quite right, Gareth, even though the rules are so clearly defined, and a lot of the times people think in theory that they can go out and give their partners all the freedom that they want, but the moment the partner goes out, suddenly they realize that, hey, I don't want them to step out of the boundaries of the relationship. Right. Because now I feel jealous, now I feel resentful, now I feel hurt. So yeah, in theory it works, but in practice it's very challenging.
You try one of these ones.
Yeah, I was in an open relationship once. In my heyday, in the swingers community.
I'm sorry, I'm taking this very seriously. Go on.
And I was actually dating the head honcho.
The head swinger.
The pig swinger. And it was so weird because I was completely fine with it. I was absolutely fine with it.
How long did you guys last?
Probably about 6 months. And I was trying to remember now.
Listen, that's not bad.
Why we stopped seeing each other, but I don't remember.
What do you think of that, Doc?
I want to ask Leigh-Ann, I want to just explore this. When you said, what were the rules of your relationship? What were the rules of the game? What did you agree on?
Well, I think it was quite a unique situation in that it wasn't something that we went in as what we would call vanilla couple, and then decided hey, let's explore something. The scene was set up. I knew when I met him that he was the big swinger, the head honcho.
And what was he allowed to do? And what were you allowed to do?
Everything and anything.
So everything and anything.
There's no rule there.
The only rule we ever had in the swinging community was that at gatherings, you were not allowed to have single men attending. You could have single women attending, but not single men. Men had to have a partner.
And he could swing without you. He could go and have a sexual adventure without you. No problem.
Yes, and I knew he was.
And that was okay with you?
Yet, when I'm in a committed relationship, I'm probably one of the most jealous people you'll ever know. I will fly into a jealous rage due to trust issues from a young age. So I don't know how to balance that up, where it also depends on what part of your life you're in. At that stage, you know, I don't know, you would probably have some term for it, but you don't have much self-respect and you're hurting a lot. So you tend to engage in more risky behavior. Whereas when you're more settled, it's completely different. Chalk and cheese.
So when you met, the rules were already set. You knew what he was about to, and you gave him the freedom to do whatever he wants, whenever he wants, as long as the only rule was that no single men are to attend these swinger parties.
Yeah.
Okay. And why did you only last for 8 or 9 months?
I didn't fall in love with him as such. It kind of got to that point, and then I wasn't ready for that. So,
but do you think maybe you didn't fall in love because the investment? I mean, he just couldn't give more because his time was obviously limited.
It's also there was that weird challenge thing, you know, like sometimes a married person is more of a challenge for a single person, and you feel a sense of victory when they spend time with you instead of their wife, where they choose you over the wife. It's kind of like that with this guy, where he would choose to spend time with me at a party instead of anyone else. It's kind of like you think you've won something.
You know,
all right. How about this? Sorry, I want to throw this question in because it's just taking it in a different direction. I have a question, says Joking Atheist. Open relationships generally are about the sexual activity, but they break down when the external relationship strays into other boundaries. Is this true?
Yeah, because remember, like the rules are so complex. It's like, sure, you can go out and have a sexual adventure with someone else, but suddenly, what about developing feelings for the other person? What about I actually like their kids and I like their friends and I like their parents too. I like where they go out and actually not just want to have sex with them, but I actually want to engage with them on an emotional level. Those rules are not clearly defined in an open relationship, which makes it therefore way more complex. But another aspect that Leigh-Ann brings up that is so interesting because it happens a lot in the relationships that I see, the open relationships, is that it becomes like a mini game. It's like you turn to your partner and you go, you know what, you go and explore. But now in my head, I want to make sure that you come back to this because I want to make sure that I am the head poncho, that I'm the head person that you come back home to. So it becomes like almost like an unhealthy game that at the end of the day, you can never win because there's always somebody better, somebody taller, somebody thinner, somebody, you know, more sexually desirable. It's a losing game for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to throw this in here. This is quite a valid comment from Carl. It says, shame, man. Leigh-Ann's personal life is always content for our entertainment. We mustn't forget that she's actually mostly a real person.
Listen, it's entertaining to me as well. I sometimes lie in bed and think back on a few things, and I'm thoroughly entertained for like an hour and a half at least.
Oh, wow. Dated the big
so many layers to Leigh-Ann, sure. That's amazing.
Listen, we've hardly even scratched the surface on this thing because these open relationships, I mean, I've had endless discussions with people about whether it's possible or not. Some people claim it is not only possible, it is optimal. I don't know. I've never been convinced.
Yeah, I mean, then you get thruples as well who live together and have children.
No, yeah. I saw one of those videos. I saw one of those videos on Instagram this week of like two gender non-binary women and some guy called Benefer or something. And then the three of them have got like 2 kids. And I just go,
the kids are like in homeschooling or non-schooling.
Yeah, and the kids are also like, trans, this, whatever. The one kid, they don't want to determine it's just such a mess. Like, life is hard enough. And then you want to go and complicate your life with an open relationship.
Yeah.
Really, like, tried and tested. Monogamy has its advantages. It's a great way to raise kids. The minute you try to raise kids, how does it work in an open relationship?
Yeah, exactly. The rules become really complicated, for sure.
No. It's very weird. All right. So thank you, Doc. And I hope we haven't upset all the people in the swinging community or the open relationship community this morning, because we've been quite dismissive. But you know what? You're going to go out this week and have sex with many people. So don't come and put all your shit on us.
You're at the advantage side.
Yeah. Shut up. All right. Thanks, Doc. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
That's good.
Bye.
It's so good to unpack these things professionally.
Yeah, exactly.
Monday morning. All right. Well, we've got exciting things happening in the next hour. Do you know what they are? You do, man. You've seen the running order. Come on.
I was going to say, surprise me.
No, come on. You know exactly who's popping in today.
Yes, I do.
He's probably one of South Africa's most beloved people.
Jay something.
Yeah, that's right. Jay something. He's going to be popping in. He is a South African musician, singer, and songwriter. He's also lead vocalist of Mi Casa. And he is an incredible cook and chef.
My Kitchen Rules.
Damn right. And he's opened up a new place just over the... it's just down the road here, actually. I still have to go and see it. And we're going to talk to him about that. Plus a new single coming out and a whole lot more. So we're going to check in with him. And while we're talking about food, because I knew we'd be doing a little bit of that. Nom, first thing on a Monday morning. We'll also have Anna Trapido pop in. I don't know if it's going to happen today, but we might have her another day this week, depending on how busy we get today. Anyway, all of that and more on the way. Stick around, cliffcentral.com. It is Monday morning. Good morning, everybody.
Is hormone replacement therapy safe? And the answer is a resounding yes. It does not cause cancer. Okay. But if you have an underlying cancer that's already active, it will and has the possibility of lighting that little ember into a raging fire. So it's very important to understand the patient's medical history, current medical condition, family history before embarking on this road.
That was the T Health Show, empowering you with knowledge. Download all previous episodes on your favorite podcast platform. The T Health Show is brought to you by T Clinic.
Just because it's about technology, connecting your business to the rest of the world doesn't mean you need to send rockets to space and use complicated solutions. Want to simplicate things? Well, join Jaco Voigt, who is the CEO of Catalytic, on the Unbundled podcast. With skin in the game and a keen focus on educating and assisting you and your business, Jaco decodes all the aspects of connectivity, security, and cloud solutions. Unbundled is brought to you by Catalytic and is available on cliffcentral.com, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's the decade that just won't go away, mainly because we won't let it. It's That 80s Show, the show that taste forgot. Every Friday, Paolo and Dory remember the 80s. Movies, music, fashion, Wham, Bee Gees, and The Half. If it was acceptable in the 80s, it will get you cancelled today. That 80s Show, new episode every Friday, live or as a podcast on cliffcentral.com.
Up next in the Auto Trader podcast.
We've always said that the one thing the internet brings is transparency of car buying and selling. The more transparent the car seller is, the better chance they have to actually move that piece of metal.
Catch us every Monday at 9 a.m. on YouTube and on autotrader.co.za.
All right. It is Monday morning. It's just after 7 o'clock. It's freezing cold, and this is not the best time of day for. This house that we're in now.
Is it a cold one?
Oh my God! The sun doesn't come here in winter. It's like we're in we're hidden. What is it called? An eclipse.
Like a 6-month winter.
Yeah,
like it's not a 6-month. A
Scandinavian.
6-month night.
Scandinavian sort of. It's dark and cold here the whole time.
Find out if there's pink stuff in the ceiling. Sometime I had a house once with no pink stuff.
I've been in the ceiling. There's nothing in there.
Oh, well, there you go.
No, trust me.
No insulation.
I was crawling around in the ceiling. They were all worrying about me falling through.
Can't imagine you doing that.
I swear to God, really? I was in there. Yeah, and the space is only. It's a crawl space.
Yeah,
so you have to. I was like a leopard up there, trying to put in wires. You have no idea. Internet. I was like a handyman, but a retarded one. It was terrible.
Oh my God.
Such a disaster. I'll tell you who isn't a disaster is this guy, this Jay something. Everything he touches just turns to gold. Look at you.
Oh man.
How the hell are you, dude?
No, I'm thinking about how you speaking about this day, Monday, cold, and then you invited us here. With all that said,
you're the kind of guy who could wear a beanie. If I wear a beanie, I look ridiculous.
Yeah, I've never seen you wear one.
I look ridiculous. I look like someone who needs to have a curator walk with them all the time and make sure they don't get into huge trouble.
I'm sure we can work on it.
No,
come on now.
You could wear that beanie. You look cool. I would look so stupid.
I don't know.
I promise you, with this head, the shape of head I've got. All right, so we've got Jay something, and we've got Ricardo da Costa here, it's so nice to see you two, dude, outside of like clubs and birthday parties and things, because I've known you for years.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre that we're here. So first of all, the reason that you're both here is because I wanted to find out about all the things that you've been up to. And of course, there's a new single coming out. We'll talk about that in a second. For Mi Casa, your own career. Last time we had you on, we were talking about your life, your wife, all the things you do off of the stage. And then quietly during lockdown, which is when everybody else was just trying to survive, you idiots go and you open up, you decide to open up, and you did it in the last year, a new restaurant. And it's this whole new concept, actually. And I thought, well, these are brave, smart people, because they come up with these ideas when everyone else is fearful. It's Warren Buffett. He says, when other people are fearful, be greedy. When other people are greedy, be fearful.
Yeah.
And I think that's right, huh?
Yeah,
you think that's right, Ricardo?
Yeah. The hospitality industry's gone through some changes, but in that is opportunity.
Because you're doing events and things at a big scale again. And a lot of people are saying, oh, that's all finished. That's done. There's no money in the country. And I mean, that is a reality.
That is a reality. Last year, I think people were a little bit carefree and swipe and worry later.
Yeah.
There was definitely that kind of mentality. This year, especially the first half, definitely more of an economic pinch. But you just got to adjust. You got to pivot and massage things a bit to make it a little bit more palatable. Sometimes it's just not about profit. It's about sustainability, but we'll regulate. It's a trend. It's a cycle that always happens. And as long as there's value, you build loyalty and people will keep on coming back.
A very sensible point of view. Can't argue with that. Now, what brought you two together? Your Portuguese surnames?
Funny enough, like we've been together. Ricardo was right there in the beginning of my career.
Okay.
From day one, when I arrived at Soul Candy looking for a job. And
yeah, of course, that's his background. Exactly. Yeah, music business.
Yeah, so we've been on our first date already.
Yeah.
So opening a restaurant was...
So the Portuguese thing had nothing to do with it.
No.
But, okay, so the restaurant's called Artistry. And let's just talk about this for a second, because it's quite a novel idea. I haven't been yet, to my eternal shame. I will go. I hardly leave the house anymore. I'm serious. The most boring guy in the world.
He likes the crawl spaces and he stays in them.
I crawl around. I'm like a zombie. I'm crawling around in the
our roof.
He wasn't setting up Wi-Fi. He was just chilling.
I was trying to get out of everybody else's way. So tell us about it.
Artistry. Yeah, I mean, we call it a restaurant for, I guess, relatability, but we have a restaurant at Artistry.
There's food there.
Yes.
If that's what you want.
It's a 3-level experience. It's essentially, we define it as a cultural platform. And what we're trying to do there is to celebrate, showcase, and preserve culture and everything that we do. So we've got a rooftop restaurant. Second floor, we've got a listening bar. And then the third floor, we've got a 100-seater theater. And I think it's that when it works together as a journey is where the magic begins. So you come for dinner, you drop into the bar, have a drink, drop into the theater, watch a piece of entertainment, whether it's music, comedy, a movie premiere, a talk, a book launch, whatever it may be, and then after party in the listening bar.
Okay, so there aren't a lot of venues that can do live performance in South Africa. I mean, we have in Joburg nowhere where you could do small concerts anymore. I mean,
the ones that are there have been there for ages.
Well, I mean, I was talking to everybody on the show on Friday about how we don't have a place anymore since the Dome has been turned into a car showroom. Like, where do people watch shows that aren't stadium size? And frankly, with the rand dollar at the moment, we can't do stadium size concert. So where do people go? This is at least an answer to that question, right?
100%. I mean, Jay and I were talking just before we opened, like the energy in an intimate space with certain artists, you get a different kind of experience, which, you know, when you're standing in front of 5,000-10,000 people, it brings out a different energy. So I think the intimacy is what we bring in the theater. And, you know, Jay's curated a awesome sort of program for our Artistry Live, where we have once a month we have a featured artist, and it's a sellout show every month, which is great.
Yeah, we had The Soil, the first one, which was
awesome.
magical. You can imagine watching The Soil, Langa Mavuso, these A-lists, you know, artists, 100 people in a room.
And I mean, for the people in the room, it's like, this is a very intimate, very like, I was one of those 100 people. It's a small number of very, very lucky folks. And are and they're prepared to pay?
Well, I mean, like, it's
because people are notoriously cheap. They want everything for nothing.
You know, because it's called Artistry, we really wanted to create a platform that could be relatable and accessible to people.
Yeah, but
even though we're in Sandton.
What I'm talking about is coming out of COVID, obviously, where all of these people, including you, there was nothing that you could do to perform your stuff for a while.
Yeah.
And people miss that. They want live entertainment.
Yeah, I think like when you speak about venues to perform at, I think, or venues to attend to go and watch artists, I thought of the complete opposite. I thought I want to create a platform that I want to perform on, because I don't think there are many stages in Joburg or, you know, I don't know, South Africa that you feel like, oh, I really want to do something there. And so far, every artist, every comedian that's been there is just like, dude, this is amazing. So it feels good.
Do you think it's all coming back, Ricardo? Do you think the things are starting to crawl back and people are starting to get out there and do the live stuff again? Because they're definitely hungry for it.
They're hungry for it. You know, to the point that we were talking about earlier, there's definitely a question of finance where maybe someone would go to 5 festivals and maybe only going to 1. That's certainly happening. But
pissed off Leigh-Ann, she's going out now.
This is
festivals. I mean, because you do a couple of these as well, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, we constantly assessing the consumer behavior, and last year was good. I must admit, last year was great, and it gave the industry a lot of sort of confidence in terms of what's to come. The first half of this year has been tough. Really? In all sectors. Everything is down, and I don't say that in a doom and gloom kind of way. It's just, it's life. You know, we need to just understand these things. But I don't know if you saw recently, there was a new festival that launched called Hey Neighbor, which arguably is going to be the biggest festival offering that this country's ever seen.
Really? I've never heard of this. This is news to me. Tell me about it.
It's just launched. So it's Glen 21. So it's kind of South Africa's answer to Coachella in terms of format and positioning. That's what they're trying to do. And I'm like, as a festival promoter, though people may see us as competitors or whatever, like I'm really rooting for him because he is pushing the boundaries like you cannot believe what he's also doing.
So what's the idea though? I mean, what makes it different?
So it's a 3-day festival. It's a arts, cultural sort of festival, music. It's all consolidated into one. They've got 6 really big artists. They've got Swedish House Mafia. They've got her Chainsmokers.
Wow.
And there's one that I know.
Has he got major financial backers? He's going to need that.
and he's launched with no sponsors, and he's also launched a ticket price that is unprecedented. Wow. And like from a business model, he's had to do that. I understand that, but he is pushing the boundary. So maybe he sees something that we don't see. I don't know.
You mean it's going to be expensive?
It's 4,000 Rand a ticket for a general access ticket. When you look at it all mapped out on the table, I think it's worth it, and I'm really rooting for him. But if he's doing that now, then it certainly gives us all confidence to to try push and be innovative in that space.
Yeah, it's amazing to me that the idea of what people will go and pay to be a part of has changed so much. I mean, there's a part of you, obviously, Jay, something that's about the music still.
Yeah,
and that's like at the beginning of your career, and it's, to me, that's where real value is. I don't mind paying whatever it costs to see brilliant live musicians doing their thing. And I've become a little bit jaded because I've seen so many concerts in my life, but I'd still pay for that. That's something I don't want to see a DJ.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about a DJ. First of all, I've seen it from the inside, and I wasn't ever a good DJ, but
no, you weren't.
But who cares? No, I wasn't. But who cares? You know, most of those people are just there to drink and take drugs. And they don't give a shit what's going on with a DJ.
Care.
No, you didn't. You were just taking drugs and drinking. Yeah. But musicians, different story. And then you talk about how you're going to combine that in what you guys do with artistry, for example, with, food and an experience. And it's like it's a full package of like a night out. This is something you could do with a girlfriend or
you plan.
Yeah.
And it's something that happens on a monthly. So you can also create consistency with your planning. Like, I think it's all my mates are just like, we've got this one thing called Artistry Movie Club, which is essentially you pay $350 for a ticket. It includes your dinner. And we always have fun. The first day we did deep dish pizza. The next month we did burgers and fries. And then you drop into the theater and we do a collab with Bioscope Theater. And we watch an old classical movie. And then you, after the movie, drop into the bar, have a last drink and bounce home. So I think it's exactly you're on the money.
But you have to work so much harder to get people to spend money, right? I mean, this is what you're talking about too.
I think it's also cool, like as creatives and as entertainers, you also have to work a little bit harder to build that thing where Gareth wants to come out now, because now it's not just I'm going to a club and have a
You'd rather be in the roof.
Yeah, exactly. How are we going to get him out the roof?
Did you go out to vomit? What happened?
No, I got... Surprisingly not, because that's generally what I do every time.
Suddenly, she's going out for a strategic bomb.
I'm connected to my brother's alarm system, and
there was a problem.
There were 17 panic presses.
Oh God!
So, but everything's fine.
It's the cats again.
No,
they've learned how to use the alarm.
It's his house. He has a pole that just bursts, spontaneously combusts every few weeks.
Oh,
on the
stripper
corner.
pole.
Yeah, my brother's stripper pole.
Yeah. This sounds like
on the
you guys should open up some sort of concept around her brother's house. It sounds like a place. Sounds like things happen there. All right. Well, tell me about what's happening with you and Mi Casa, because you guys are still performing all over the place. You're still busy.
It's been actually, I'm probably, and I know you and I have always had interesting conversations around my life, and that's why I really enjoyed talking to you. But Mi Casa is the best place it's ever been at. We spent the last year and a half overseas a bit working on new music.
Right.
And we're releasing this week.
Let me play this quickly so that people can get just a little snip. This you put on social media, so you don't nail me on copyright. Yeah, I know you got your army of lawyers waiting.
In my time with you, I want to spend it with you. I want to spend it with you.
I love that. It just you guys look like you have so much fun, and it's always so happy.
Yeah,
love it.
Very much part of our purpose, I think.
So you reckon you're at the best place you've ever been?
I think, like, with taking all things into consideration, we're working with record labels now in Europe, and we've never done that before. We're releasing directly from there. We're working with PR booking agencies globally, which we've never done that before. And I think it's all got to do with the music. I don't want to say we've changed. I think we've found a new chapter of sound, and it's sounding a lot like this. So it's a lot more, if I could say, pop. So we positioning ourselves as a pop band from Africa.
Great.
And the music's sounding really hot, man. I'm very excited.
Well, TV's also been a big part of this, and all of these. Is that cooking show still on? I don't watch any TV at all.
I watch it.
You do? You watch it, huh?
4 seasons down. I'm not sure if we're doing another one, but I've jumped onto a new ship now, which is a show called The Masked Singer. I don't know if you've heard of it.
So yeah, Nele wanted me to go on here, and
it was so much fun, dude.
I know. I'm sure you guys. I would hate every second of it. Having to dress up, and then you have to go on and sing, and then all these people say what they think and who they think you are.
I didn't do that part.
I would just hate it. No, but you're a judge.
I was a detective. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I would hate that show. But you sound like you had fun.
I had the most fun. I actually every time.
Have they started showing it yet?
Starts on the 4th of June. Yeah.
Every time I finish. International one.
No, it's very entertaining. I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's rad, dude. I had a jam. Yeah. I couldn't believe I was getting paid to do that.
You mentioned like the record companies in Europe with what you're doing with Mi Casa, though. Just go back to that for a second. The record companies, do they still, what is their incarnation at the moment? What do they do?
Well,
what is the point of a record company now? Because they used to be there to promote, which clearly, thanks to YouTube and social media and everything else, they can't do that kind of job.
Yeah.
They can't pay to get you further and greater than, and like they used to be able to do that. And obviously distribution used to be their big game too. And they would make sure that, your stuff was available in stores.
Getting samples out.
Yeah, no one goes to stores anymore. And radio stations aren't powerful like they used to be.
I think for me, like I've always been a believer of record labels because I think every single chapter that I've had with the record label, it's been impactful. When I started out with Soul Candy, we were just young kids not knowing what we were doing. And that chapter of our lives helped us tremendously. I think it's the experience in the camp of those people that are genuinely passionate about
but that
music.
was in the days when, you remember this, Ricardo. Soul Candy used to be you guys worked damn hard and you were like the new kids on the block, and you also disrupted the whole big old record company model.
Yeah.
But,
we were able to make changes and pivot like a lot quicker. It didn't need a big board meeting and then overseas approvals and so on. But to to answer your question and just to add some insight to that, I think creatives want to be creative and they don't want to be worried about all the other unromantic stuff of the music industry.
Are you any good with that stuff?
I think the problem is that musicians go into this stuff not knowing business. So I have a good understanding of the business of music, and then I go in there knowing exactly what I'm doing. I know I'm giving you my masters. So I'm aware of that. It's a chapter of my life, and I'm there to milk it as much as I can, because what they do is they have endless budget. So we can go and do 2 music videos in Cape Town, spend what we spend.
Do they still have big budgets?
Oh, yeah. When you're dealing with Universal Global.
Really?
It's a massive
good for
record
them.
label, yeah.
I thought they'd be out of business by now. But
and they're
good for
highly
them.
connected, I'm doing things that I could have never done independently. There's opportunity there, and I think it's so far so good. That's all I can say.
Okay, I'm happy to hear that, because I really thought that model had been so disrupted. That
one of the things we don't do is sit back. So I don't let you I sit on your neck. It's got to be like that. That's the issue that the artists don't do. Is they're like, I signed with the label, and then you sit back and wait. I don't wait. I never waited, even with Soul Candy. I was just always.
Was he a pain in the backside?
No, well, when he wanted expensive music videos, it's a pain in the ass. Flying dancers from America, and that was a courageous conversation. Yeah, we're still here. So
yeah, exactly.
All right, so you watch the cooking shows.
Yes.
Yeah, so let's just get back to that, because we got on a tangent with Masked Singer and back to record companies. But this is a big part of your life. I know food is a massive thing. I follow you on Insta, and like I sometimes see the stuff that you're doing there, and you just love it. You're so into it.
Yeah, man. Like yesterday, I just had the time of my life. I just spent the whole day at home. I bought this new gas fry, and I just had family around, and we just
don't pretend you have a gas fry because you wanted to experiment with gas fries, because you don't have electricity.
No, this thing is dope. Yeah. I won't go into it,
really?
But I'll tell you on the side.
Is it better than the what do you cook on there that you can't cook with a normal open flame?
Gareth thinks cooking is cutting open an avo and slicing it.
Well, we need to start there before we can address cooking on gas.
No, but I mean, so you've got people who are purists about this and that, and they get into. I mean, I've seen some of this stuff. I don't understand it. I've never really been much of a foodie myself, but I see the on your face this expression of like, oh, this is amazing. I love this. I mean, I get that because there are things I feel that way about. It's just not cooking.
Yeah.
But you got a new gas fryer. Now this is exciting.
Ultimately, it was actually everything that happened around it. You know, it's the fact that I had my wife, my friends all around it. It has nothing really to do with that. I made roosterbrot and I made eggs, bacon, sausage, and we, you know, at the end you have this whole bite and it's fun.
You brought out books, and you know, obviously now people are interested in trying to. Does it irritate you when people tell you that they tried to cook your thing and that it came out beautifully? And does it irritate you that these people are taking your creative stuff and trying to like pretend that they've got some talent as well?
I'm not sure if it irritates me. I mean,
it would irritate me.
Yeah. The food thing has
You stole my apple bake, you bitch. You think you're so creative.
You'd be the meanest.
I would.
Chef.
This is
sharing no recipe.
I stole their apples.
Different personality.
So good.
So I mean, when it comes to this stuff, where do you get your ideas?
No, man, like food is not many people create new things within food. We all even music, you know, like music's eight notes. Like we all reusing things now. It's just, and you're trying to find a new way
Look
to
at
do
him
it.
downplaying his two major talents. Basically said, no, this is just rinse and repeat. Copy.
It is.
8 notes, eggs and bacon, gas.
It's super simple
It's
at the
the
end
whole
of the
life
day.
in like a few words.
Yeah, I guess it's like when I look at your guys' setup, I'm like, how on earth do you guys do all of this? Hey, like, it's simple. Just put on the thing. And I'm like, nah, not simple for me. But ask me to write a song or cook a dish. It's simple.
Well, what are your other hidden? Because I know you love tequila, which is something I'm into.
Yeah, a bit of a childish obsession.
Apparently, you've got the most incredible tequila collection in the world.
Yeah, he does.
In the north of Johannesburg, in
the north of Joburg. You think there are people in the south of Joburg who have more? I don't. I really don't.
I'll make a tequila collection.
Yeah. No, but I mean, what got you into that?
I was lucky enough to be invited by Patron Tequila in 2019 to play a golf pro-am. So at the time, the golf excited me more than the tequila.
And funny, those two don't go together. You don't play very good golf if you've been drinking.
Not complimentary. And I went to Cancun, and I was hosted by the global Patron team, and I got to have dinner and break bread and drink tequila with the families that farm the agave plants. Wow. And
that's some
other bread, and it opened up my world and educated me, to be honest. So when you're drinking tequila for 10 days straight, you're forced to appreciate it. And I was consuming good liquid, and I came back completely like converted and I'm not a big drinker, and I love tequila.
Yeah.
I mean, people would say,
welcome to my world, man.
Like tequila, you don't like to drink.
I hate to say it, but if you just asked me 12 years ago, 14, 18 years ago, I would have said to you, this is it. Don't drink anything else.
Yeah.
I think when you taste the good stuff, that's when it literally it happens instantly.
Because let's also just square up to the fact that in South Africa, when I was in my 20s, there were only 2 brands of tequila, and they're both shit.
Yeah.
They really were. Absolute, like toilet water
Paint
mixed
stripper.
with cane, mixed with, petrol and, urine. Who knows? But it was absolutely appalling. And yet I pushed through. And I believed. I was a true believer.
And most of people still have that perception. So I think once...
Yeah, you meet these girls. It's always girls that go, no, I won't drink that.
Yeah,
I had one bad experience where I blacked out and I threw up my one lung, and I'll never touch tequila again.
Yeah.
Horrible.
But, what's happening now is a beautiful thing, because there's all these different expressions of tequila, and people are understanding that you don't just need to shoot it. You can sip it.
Yeah, you can drink it like whiskey.
Exactly.
And I mean, you were talking about 4,000 Rand tickets for a festival, but you get bottles of tequila that are 4,000 or 5,000 Rand a bottle.
I'm sure, easy.
Yeah.
Relative to whiskey, making tequila is a lot more expensive, the process.
Yes.
So, there's a reason why. And also the agave plant takes 7 years to mature. So,
and you can only call it tequila if it's actually grown in Jalisco in Mexico.
Exactly.
It's like champagne has to come from Champagne in France. Otherwise, you have to call it sparkling wine. And,
Yeah. But
this is just good stuff, huh?
That's interesting. Yeah.
Listen,
I'm
Ricardo
a
and I.
fan.
I'm sorry, but Ricardo and I are going to carry on for the rest of the show only about tequila, and we will still be going at 4:00 this afternoon.
Exactly. Yeah, I recently got into it now.
Have you?
Tequila, lime, cordial, and soda water.
Power.
That's vibe, man.
Okay, well,
refreshing.
Yeah, I think you're trying to hide the taste.
No, it's still there.
Really?
Yeah. As long as you use the good one, not the urine one.
It's like a hard salsa. It gives it changes its.
So when you were drinking it in Mexico, because when the chief distiller for one of the big brands came out here, and I did a tour around the country with him, and I was like, I did the intro, and his name was Jesus Hernandez. I think he's dead now.
I think he's genuine.
Jesus, yeah. And with a name like that, you don't. That's not bullshit. I remember he explained to me how they drink it in Mexico, and I hadn't been to Mexico at that stage, so I had to take his word for it. But they don't do the lemon and the Tabasco and all that nonsense. How did you experience it? Because there were some Mexicans who I met in, what was it, it's last March, who told me that they have it with like a salsa.
Yeah.
Like a tomato sort of salsa.
So they don't even serve it cold there. Everything is room temperature.
Yeah.
That's probably the most notable thing, because as South Africans, I think we're used to having tequila ice cold, which is great.
Or even served in a bowl of crushed ice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So there, it's all room temperature, and it's that's how they consume it. So it's either as a shot or sip it, but on the rocks, and lots of margaritas. Yeah.
There we go. This is good. People are excited about
7 a.m.
Yeah. Right.
Tequila tip.
So Joking Atheist says, I can drink just about anything, but I cannot drink Sambuca ever. Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Remember you had the different colors?
I vomited the different colors in succession. I could actually tell them apart.
You did the gay pride flag.
Yeah. Matric holiday. They had kind of just come out then, and it was the only thing that was new from peach schnapps, because that's all we really had was like peach schnapps and then some other Campari and things like that.
Schnapps.
And then they came out with all these colors. Oh my gosh.
Parallel Parking says, is this true, Ricardo? Tequila is the only alcohol that does not depress the nervous system.
It's an upper.
It's an upper, right?
It's an upper. It's one of the more health conscious, vitality based drinks, because of especially the non-additive based ones. So in terms of if you're watching your weight and calories, it's definitely one of the
you will not become a fatso by drinking tequila.
Indeed.
And everyone knows you don't want to be fat.
And
people,
you'll be happy.
They lie. They lie. Nobody likes them. They smelly. Can't find clothes to fit them. It's terrible to be fat. And if tequila can help you to not be fat, then we're doing very well.
It's the burritos that do it.
Not
the tequila.
All right, so here's an interesting thing from Tracy on the cooking. She says, rumor has it that the famous Roux brothers back in the 50s would leave out crucial ingredients from famous recipes to annoy people who were trying to copy their food. I love that, because people buy the recipe book going, this is the key to me becoming a better chef.
And then they mess with people.
They're messing with people.
I don't know the Roux brothers.
Have you ever thought of doing that?
No.
I wish you would do that.
Do you know the Roux brothers?
No.
Maybe that's why we don't know them.
But
because the infamous or famous.
Well, maybe. But I'd always like to know that you added something that you didn't tell anyone else. It's like the KFC secret, 12 herbs and spices. You keep it locked. I don't know. You keep it locked in a safe somewhere. Yeah. Those are the real J something recipes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's
I've
good
never
stuff.
done that. I've never done that.
What do you have for breakfast? Because I don't even eat breakfast anymore. Do you do breakfast?
Eggs now, quite religiously.
Really?
Eggs or oats.
Is that like a health thing, or is it something you really like eating?
Yeah, I started like a new journey now because of Ricardo. But we've been training, and it's kind of just more.
Why?
Of like
because of him? What is he putting pressure on you?
He actually showed the results first, and then I was like, wow, looking good, bro. So
okay.
Yeah, so it's been a whole.
We have that kind of relationship, you know.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit not competitive, but you inspire each other.
Yeah, he inspired me with that, and then I kind of met the guy that he was working with, and yeah, it's been tough. But I know I'm dieting. I'm not trying to find a lifestyle.
Did you get a bit of a spare tire? And
yeah, sure.
Can't have that on stage.
No. But I'm feeling good now. feeling good.
All right. So you're fit as hell?
I've just come off the program, and I do it once a year, and it's more of a.
What is this, like a fasting thing?
No, it's a eating training program. To Jay's point, it takes commitment and dedication, but its results maintained throughout the year if you are relatively disciplined. And it's a good vitality thing. I honestly did it because I saw a picture of myself somewhere, and I was like,
yeah, that happens. That happened to me.
Bod 101.
Yeah, at my brother's wedding, there were all these pictures that came out like a week later, and I looked at myself. I thought, oh my God,
yeah,
that is a monster. Get into the gym and start eating only the things that you need to eat.
Yeah,
of course, you
tequila
go up, and we all go
eggs.
up and down though, right?
Tequila and burritos.
Tequila and yeah.
Reminds me of because the reason I asked about breakfast is there was that episode of Family Guy where I think it's Family Guy. The guy goes, eggs and steak and eggs. That's what we have for breakfast.
That's pretty much what we've been eating. There's this thing called the Lion diet.
Yeah, eggs and steak.
Just protein. Eggs,
Can't go
steak.
wrong. That's healthy stuff.
Yeah. For a period of time.
I haven't seen a vegan alive for a long time. Not a lot of them anymore. Most of them have died out or been eaten.
Oh my God.
Do you do vegan recipes?
No, it's not really my thing.
No, it's horrendous. You can't.
Every now and then.
What do you do with soy sauce?
No, man, it's not like
and
that.
soy in general. Tofu. What are you going to do with tofu?
It's not.
Don't make the guy's working hard on music and food. He can't be fucking figure out tofu recipes.
I give up, honestly.
What can you make out of tofu?
No, I don't enjoy tofu. But a lot of the stuff I eat is just naturally vegan. It's not like I'm out looking for it. It's just the world of vegetables has changed so much recently.
I agree.
We're eating cabbage in ways that we didn't before.
Yeah. Let us not fall into the peer pressure here, Gareth.
No, go on.
Exactly.
I'm interested in this. What do you mean?
A good braised cabbage, just braised cabbage, and grilled zucchini, aubergines rolled up with cream cheese. I know that's not vegan, but it could be. But a lot of these things are becoming main meals. Cauliflower, curried cauliflower roasts.
Is it difficult when you run restaurants and you're thinking about, because it's part of your job to be thinking about food all the time, to actually be disciplined about what you eat?
Yeah. I mean, yes. Yeah, because I mean, like this week I was supposed to have a really strict week, but I'm doing a new menu for winter.
You see, how's it possible? Because you've got to taste the stuff.
Yeah. So it's tricky. But I think also like being around food, I actually started to lose a lot of weight being around the restaurant because you don't have actually time to think about eating. So you get carried away with just working and thinking more about than
do any of you ever watch that terrible show, that Come Dine With Me? You ever watched it?
Yeah, I've watched it before. I don't.
It's the most. Yeah. It's terrible, but once you start watching it, you can't stop watching it because they have these people in there. They're ordinary people, people around town, whatever, Joburg, Durban.
Especially the South African one.
Oh,
yeah,
it's hilarious.
Oh, it's so bad because you have. Yeah, they're just such mean-spirited people usually.
I have one of my best friends that wants to do this.
Really?
I'm like, dude, go for it.
I've actually done it. I've actually
you did it?
Yeah. We have four couples. We did a little Come Dine With Me. We did the whole video thing, and then right at the end we had a culmination where we watched all the videos.
Oh, dope.
The reviews and that
sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Did you do all right? Did you win?
We didn't win. We didn't come
so
last.
I can tell you're still bitter about it.
Yeah,
you didn't win the 500 rand.
Yeah.
All right. Well, what's on the agenda for the next couple of months? We played a little bit of your single. What else is on your menu?
Yeah, man. I think we're really excited about where artistry is. It's right down the road, by the way.
I gotta go, dude. I will. I'll make a plan. I promise.
We've got a whole bunch of things that we're doing. Like I mentioned, comedy, music, movies. So that's a real big focus of ours. We're just trying to get that right and getting it better and better every month. Mi Casa is on a whole new journey, so I'm very excited about that. I'm in a good space at the moment.
I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah.
That's very good news. And everything else going well? Wife, kids?
Yeah, so good, man.
Because the last time we checked in on that front, you were like the luckiest man in the world, and you were you were aware of it. Which is amazing.
Still.
Yeah, lucky you.
Nah, happy to be.
Leigh-Anne's divorced. And
yeah, he's
miserable.
never married, and we're both barren.
That's also okay, you know.
Barren, it's such a good word.
We'd love to see photos of your children.
Yeah, I'll show you after, no problem. But yeah, we're good. We're in a good space. Coco's doing really well. She's actually involved at the restaurant.
Oh, is
She's
she?
loving it.
Oh, yeah.
She's heading up the kitchen, actually, funny enough.
Wow, that's
tough job.
that is a tough job.
Yeah. Not in the traditional sense, in our own way. Like we're not really applying a lot of the traditional culture.
It's not Gordon Ramsay shouting.
No. She's not the head chef. She's managing the kitchen. She's having a lot of fun.
You shout at people?
No.
It's not in your nature. I can't imagine you
We're
shouting.
building a new culture there, man. Everybody in that kitchen comes from my Instagram. They were followers. Now they're young. It's young South Africans that are in there. Everybody's under 24.
How do you audition and interview people for that sort of thing?
Ricardo plays a big role in it.
Really? Tell us how that works.
Well, especially for someone in a kitchen, they've got to cook, right?
Yeah.
So we actually went through an interesting process of getting them to cook a meal that would save their life. And then we got them to cook one of the dishes that at the time, was a shortlist to be on our menu. And we gave them the recipe. So it's about how you follow a recipe. And the other one would be something you're
playing My Kitchen Rules, but you're doing it
100%
without the cameras.
More like MasterChef.
MasterChef,
yeah.
Right.
Rest in peace, Jocks on Furlough.
I mean, you sit and you interview someone and you get a good vibe. You can't interview someone like that for a kitchen role, you know what I mean? So it was quite fun. I did a few and Jade did some. And
are you quite a good cook?
No, but I enjoy eating. There's a fat kid dying to jump out of this body. I love to eat.
Okay.
But I own a few restaurants, so I had experience in that. And I gave Jay that feedback, and then he gave it the final once over, and
you don't do a lot of interviews. That's why I'm glad you're here for this, because most people, they've heard of you and they're like, oh yeah, I think I know who that is. And he doesn't do this usually.
Yeah, I don't see him doing it a lot.
Yeah, good. I'm glad you're here.
Share.
Just behind the scenes, drinking tequila.
But this is why I think this is definitely different to the other times we've spoken, because you usually wouldn't be out here doing these things.
Yeah, I think the collaboration of artistry has been fun. I think if it's not fun, restaurant industry in itself is quite stressful, and I think it's been quite an enjoyable process, putting it all together because of its unique selling point.
But you launch, this year alone, you've launched a whole bunch of new things, and I'm just interested in how you know when the thing that you're trying is going to work or not, especially when you're doing events, opening a new restaurant, putting some new concept together that's never been tried. When can you tell that it's working?
Yeah, listen, there's no scientific, I think gut's got a lot of things to do with it. But for me, unique selling point is a big thing because there's a lot of options. There's a lot of restaurants. So take, for example, Artistry in Sandton. You're spoiled for choice. There's a lot of good restaurants. But I think from a lipstick and makeup, from a offering, I think we offer an occasion that I think is pretty unique to the region. And then, to what Jay said, the different levels, the experience, the consumer journey, that instantly fills me with confidence. And obviously the opportunity to partner with Jay and to have him express his culinary sort of skills. The dude is in front of the pass. He's putting plates on tables.
I think a lot of people come there. You could give them tofu. You give them a brick of tofu. They'd be like, I'm here to meet Jay something. I could care less. Feed me. You're right. But the reason I'm asking this is because a lot of people try things and they don't always work. And you've got a pretty high success rate.
I've been lucky.
I think you know the market very well.
Yeah, coming from a different perspective, obviously not traditionally from the restaurant sort of space, or coming from an event space. Owning a restaurant is like doing an event every single day. So there were a lot of parallels to owning a restaurant and doing events. understanding the critical path of the kitchen and the food components and whatever, but being a natural foodie and loving food, I think the hospitality component in terms of how you make someone feel in that space is what is something that I'm drawn to. Because service is service. You can get good service anywhere, but how you make someone feel.
Yeah.
And I think we do that really well in our establishments.
You agree with all of that?
Yeah,
you were nodding your head.
Internally, like I always tell the kitchen that we don't cook for people here. We serve people the food that we cook for ourselves. And that's a nice way to see it, is that it's an internal passion. And that's what I'm trying to teach these young kids that are in the kitchen, is that I can't teach you how to be David Higgs because I don't have his skill. But I can teach you how to cook from your heart, how to smell, how to taste, how to dance in the kitchen, how to be happy. It doesn't have to be a crazy space. And then all of a sudden, when you get the plate of food as the customer, you get this whole wave of something else.
That's all baked in.
Yeah, it's a whole nother energy, So I completely agree with that. We're not there to serve people food. We're there to birth moments and to, give you something special.
I mean, if that isn't a good reason for people to stop being boring and get out there and do this stuff, then I don't know what is.
Yeah, get out your crawl space.
Yeah.
But
get out the roof.
But do you think the South African market is saturated? And this is something for both of you. When it comes to music, when it comes to food, it comes to events, because I do get the distinct feeling like there's only so many people in this country who actually have the means to entertain themselves.
Yeah, and
at that level, because listen, there's just not a lot of money around.
The turnover rate is what gets me. How quickly things are new again, and how much people want things to be new again. And I'm seeing a lot of these restaurants and sort of brand houses who are putting up new restaurants with different names, and you don't realize it's the same person.
Yeah.
Just because people are always after the newness.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes me a bit nostalgic of the days where we had restaurants that had been around from when we were kids up until we were teenagers, that we grew up in.
Sure.
And that doesn't seem to happen that much anymore.
And that's why artistry is actually not about the food at all. Like we even on the food that we do it's all classics. We didn't do anything new.
Okay.
There's nothing trendy allowed at artistry. We took the filet mignon, we took the steak and potatoes, the curry and rice, the fish and chips. We did them exactly the same way, because it's not about the food. And where I agree with you is that for us, the exciting part is that on a monthly, what we actually doing is creating experiences all around the food and the drinks. But the actual experience is the classic movie. And you happen to have a meal, and I saw somebody, we did it recently. They came for dinner with their girlfriend, went into the theater, watched this movie. And as they were leaving, she said, "Don't you want to have a last drink?" And I was like, bang on the money.
Nice.
God, mission accomplished.
He was like, bang on the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
But I do agree that it is harder to have that sustainability. I mean, they say if your establishment can last beyond 3 years, you've like
that's huge.
It's a lifetime
in this industry. Yeah.
So it is saturated to a point. But it's location. There's so many different kinds of things, and I think what's working really well, what I see as a trend, is destination spaces. It's not just having 4 walls in a mall just because it's foot traffic. Build it and they will come.
Right.
So yeah,
but I think it's also got to do with and I learned this during COVID, is that before COVID, as an artist, you just wanted to have more listeners. I want to appeal to everybody, and then I was like, screw that, man. Build your tribe. Because it's actually when you start looking at the pie, and because the problem is greed. We all, as an artist, you want the whole pie, but it's not there. You just got to find your piece of the pie and then cherish that tribe, because that tribe will be with you forever. That restaurant that you keep going to, that's been around for 30 years, and it's just a family restaurant. That's kind of what you have to build. Yeah.
Well, I mean, Congo Chris says, Leigh-Anne, braised cabbage. What is this? The 1700s?
It's all coming back, Congo Chris.
Karine says she loves Come Dine With Me. Well, you're one of those people who's keeping that show on the air. It's what can I say? It's a soy latte today. Next thing you know, you're drinking Bud Light and trying to save the penguins.
It's about
That's
balance.
Great. Producer Ryan wants me to take everybody on a team outing to artistry.
Yes.
So that might be a good idea.
Come through.
Jay, thank you for Heaven. It is beautiful. Well,
Heaven.
Yeah, so
thank you for heaven.
I think the
Probably
song.
Heavenly Song.
Never been to heaven. Must I
maybe
remind
it's
you of your
also-
own songs?
No, it might be a
You've
song that I
forgotten?
did with Hugh Masekela.
Oh, it could be. In
Heaven
fact,
in You.
yes, you're right.
Yes.
Because I think he said a little bit earlier on, and I kind of breezed past it because I hate sentimentality. But he was like, "This has helped me through some tough times."
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's the beautiful thing about music. That's my favorite thing about music, is when it can connect with people.
So you're saying the food is shit. I was going to go, says Carl. Not saying the food is shit.
You said that.
You
I
just
didn't
said it's
say that.
not about the food, right?
Yeah.
All right. Very, very good.
The food is great.
Vanessa,
really good.
Vanessa agrees. No, I don't. Just
Simple, but
take it up
beautiful.
with Carl DeSantos.
No, I don't waste my
Another
time with
poorer.
that.
Just
No.
fight like you oaks used to do in the South back in
Find
the
your
days of our
tribe. He's
grandparents.
clearly not part of the tribe,
Yeah.
you know?
Well, I mean, Vanessa says, find your tribe and grow together. And I think
Yes.
that's so right. I also think that whole idea of more is more, and the I don't know where it came from, but that you have to be everything to everybody.
Yeah, man.
It's a horrible dead end, right?
That's so tiring, man. It's it happens at the restaurant all the time. I had somebody that ordered a pizza the other day and had 2 slices, sent it back because they didn't like the sauce on the pizza. And I said, no, but this is not fair, because we like the sauce on the pizza. So you can take it in a takeaway box, and you can, it's an interesting thing about, is the customer always right? I'm dealing a lot with that because I'm quite an emotional person. So it's an interesting one in the industry. That's why I say we cook for ourselves, and then make sure that we like what we make, and then over to the unknown. And if you don't dig it,
it's such a difficult thing to figure out, right? Because sometimes some customers just complete assholes.
Yeah, they're just there to complain.
And some of them are there to try and get a free meal as well.
Yeah.
So they'll send something back to the kitchen because they want something for free.
Or they'll complete the meal and tell that you didn't like it.
Yeah, exactly. No, they'll eat all of it, right?
It was too dry or whatever. But
my steak was a little bit too more like too into the medium rare, not the well done medium. Please, do me a favor. There are a lot of people. Also, they want to be important. So it's like, I went to Jay Something's restaurant and I sent something back.
Yeah. No,
I'm telling you this.
Grows me, man.
There are some people who do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People only review on shit. They don't nobody goes and has a great experience.
Oh, I had the best time.
Although we we actually get a lot of
What are these? Because apparently in the restaurant business, you'll know this, Ricardo, that these reviews mean something. Do people pay attention to that shit? I've never looked at a review, but then I'm probably not your normal.
They come up, and when you're searching for something, they're all SEO optimized. So you've got to make sure that you're taking care of that, because it's going to come up.
Yeah,
I mean, someone that's taken the time to, in a constructive way, give feedback, I take that quite seriously. Someone that just the 1 star.
Please, okay. I know you guys are all into food. It's one fucking meal. Your life's not going to change. The fact that you go in there and bitch about one meal, I don't think you have any real problems in your life, or you're a very angry.
But we're talking about
unhappy.
Impact, what impact it has
It's
when
one
you're
meal.
searching the store, the
Just
restaurant.
get over it.
or whatever.
So your chips weren't crispy enough for your life. So get on with your life.
So
what kind of person would go and write a scathing review about how the chips weren't crispy enough?
Oh, they love it.
They out there.
There's an interesting way to
Who are these
quantify, like, you're someone who had a bad experience. Is generally someone who goes to a new restaurant and has a good experience will probably come back 4, 5, 6 times. And then you quantify what they would have spent during that time. But if they had a bad experience, they tend to be a lot more vocal of their experiences. So they tell 3 or 4 of their friends and referrals, and then it starts
it can do damage.
It can do damage. So, we don't take those kind of things for granted. I mean, we don't, live by the sword and determine, whether we go left or right by these reviews.
Shouldn't you review your customers? Like, I think there should be the restaurant.
We review the reviews.
No, I think
some of them are complete bullshit. Like when you see
I think
some of
that
the stuff.
as someone comes in, you should also have like a little secret register there. And I'm not just your restaurant. No, everybody in the entertainment business. Let me review my customers here. If they're actually any good, I give them 5 stars. So someone gives you a crappy review, but they're actually a 1-star person. They're like a bullshit person.
It's like Uber drivers rating you.
Yeah.
I think we should have it reciprocated. So if someone does, and you could tell like Marjorie from Parktown is just, she's a bitch who goes around and complains. She basically, she makes that Marjorie. She goes around and she just says mean things about everyone. And Marjorie's a sad, lonely, unhappy person who's just, vagina's cobwebbed closed. Never ever has a smile on her face. Just everything is
no douche could save her.
Nothing.
And she's a bad tipper.
Marjorie's a one-star. She's a one-star
tipper.
person. And when Marjorie says something, it should be weighted on the internet. We should have AI can figure this out, right?
Yeah.
Everything she says is just quiet in the background. You have to go, what? Someone says, Marjorie said something. She's a one-star person.
Well, like
don't worry about her.
Electrocurrent repellent as she tries to enter your restaurant or your space.
Come on. You should bring me on as a consultant. I'll be rating your customers. As they come in, I'll be checking them out going, slovenly dress. Doesn't brush her teeth. I'll tell you what, they won't post a single bad review for fear that we post a review about them. Yeah, you can see why I'm not in the service business, huh? Ricardo's just going, moron.
Yeah, I'm seeing a Netflix documentary. I'm seeing all sorts of social dilemma.
All right, listen, you two. Very nice to have you here.
What a blessing.
Always good to catch up. And I appreciate you filling us in on all the exciting stuff that you're up to. Go and check out Artistry. Also, keep an eye out for Mi Casa's new music, which is coming out, and it sounds bloody fantastic.
Thanks, man.
Just based on that little clip that we saw. And also, if you're like Leigh-Anne, you care about food, well, there's plenty for you to snack on there, right? I mean, look at this is the longest prolonged period I've ever spoken about food.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
pretty.
The tequila's talk almost took over the food talk.
That tequila talk was good. Thank you, Ricardo. You've given me a reason to smile this week. I love it. And let's hope that things are a little bit warmer in the mornings. And the next time we see you, it's not freezing cold. You can come here for a pool party at our
We've also got a pool there at Artistry, so we can.
Nice. Okay, very good.
Yeah, 1 month there.
Very good. All right. I like it.
Thanks for
All right, everybody. Have a happy day.